I've seen many posts from my white Christian friends downplaying, celebrating Black History Month, saying that we should be focused on Jesus and the gospel.
You can't get past that one sentence. It's true.
Bishop in the Lord's Church. Please provide a good way to explain why it's important to celebrate diversity, even though we're one in Christ. Thank you, sir. To say that says you are ignorant. And you have no idea how ignorant you are. But it is ignorance that has been facilitated by privilege. Because of my privilege of being a dominant class and a dominant culture, I am being treated as a complete human being. I have not had to focus, ruminate, think, ponder about not being treated as a human being. Since that is not my thought, it's not my concern. And to say that I should focus on Jesus in the gospel without focusing on diversity or other cultures says that I have misunderstood Christianity totally. Because Jesus says to Abraham that I'm going to send Christ so that all could be blessed. That's everybody. That's black, that's white, that's brown, that's everybody. The whole purpose is that everybody become one in Christ. And the whole purpose of being in Christ is that we all, is not to get to heaven, but it is to have heaven on earth. It was never the will of God for man to go to heaven in the first place. Adam messed that up when he sinned. It was the will of God for man to dominate down here, not according to race. God doesn't even see race as a color. God sees in the earth three groups of people. There is the sinner, there is the Jew, and there is the Christian. Not racism. Three different groups of people that have nothing to do with color, nothing to do with nation. So to say that I'm supposed to focus on the gospel in Jesus Christ would mean that I would need to make sure that everybody could prosper. Everybody that is saved could walk in the blessing regardless of color. And I cannot do that without addressing color and addressing the circumstances and situations that facilitate that being totally not fathomable. It is demeaning. It is ignorant. It is a dereliction of duty to understand the gospel, to make that kind of statement. It says that I don't know the Jesus that I want to preach. Because the Jesus that I want to preach wants everybody to come up. And so he saw that everybody could not come up. And so he did something about it by coming and dying for everybody so that everybody could come up. So the Jesus that we preach in the gospel of grace addresses the problem, and you don't want to acknowledge the problem, then you don't want to preach that Jesus. So I could say a lot more, but it is an ignorant statement facilitated by privilege, and they would not want it to be the other way around. It is also, for some, a callous statement by fear. Because the dynamics under the race, the dominant culture this country functions under, are changing all the time. Your white friends are not even the majority anymore. They're polarity. And so as the country gets bigger, they won't even be the top culture. And for some who fear that, not all, for some who fear that, then their statement is callous and manipulating and calculating. But for the average, it's just ignorant and facilitated by privilege that they choose to be blind. You got to choose to be blind. If you're going to contrast it to the gospel of Jesus Christ, you choose it. And if you choose it, then I don't know what the intent of your heart is. That's all I got. That was my bishop response.